I'm switching from the iPhone 14 Pro Max to the S23 Ultra. No, that's not bait. Ever since I got the S22 Ultra last year, I've been in a toss-up between completely abandoning my iPhone and being so damn utterly reliant on it. And it's been a really big kick in the balls. The Fold 4 got me so close, but as much as I love that phone as an end-all be-all device, there were times where it just wasn't too practical for me in my day-to-day. And the phone that I had on me, the phone that I always fell back to, was the iPhone. Well, this year it's a different story. With the S23 Ultra, I don't feel like there are any compromises, whether it's in regards to efficiency, battery life, performance, or even my workflow. I don't actually rely on my iPhone to do anything for me in my day-to-day anymore, except for maybe manage my HomePods, but I can let my fiance figure that one out. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the S23 Ultra, why it piqued my interest, and why it's finally grabbed me by the gonads this time around. And before we get into it, if we're new here, I would really appreciate your support. A like and a sub to the channel is always helpful. We're getting really close to 15,000 subscribers, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. It is genuinely impressive to me. We've only been at this for about 9 months or so, and coming up in April, it'll be 1 year on the channel. If we can hit 15K by April, that'll just be absolutely crazy to me. So thank you all for the support that you've shown. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Anyways, when I say that my experience with the S23 Ultra has been exceptional, no word of a lie, this thing has impressed me in every single way. If you remember, my original plan was to still use an iPhone as my main, so I don't have to give my beloved Apple Watch Ultra up, which is why I was switching to the 13 mini, so I didn't have to carry two large flagship devices. Though, ever since I started using the S23 Ultra, I realized my reliance on the iPhone didn't exist anymore. I mean, there was nothing keeping me in Apple's walled garden, even as a content creator. And that's when the benefits of the S23 Ultra started to outweigh the cons of the iPhone for me personally. So what are those benefits? Well, there's a bunch of little things that really bring this whole experience together, starting with the S Pen. Whether it's needing to annotate a screenshot, sign a document for a sponsorship, or even the remote shutter to take a photo for a thumbnail, having that Bluetooth-enabled S Pen for me is more than just a gimmick. Yes, it's not something you're going to use every day, and some people may never use it at all, but I find the S Pen to be extremely helpful for what I do, and having it there is a huge bonus. Something else that I've come to appreciate is the multitasking, and by enabling the two-finger swipe, how easy it is to actually get it going. I use this all the time, whether it's for checking emails while referencing my calendar, or while watching YouTube while I'm scrolling through Twitter. There's just so many ways that you can manipulate this device, which sadly can't be said about the iPhone at all. I shouldn't have to feel like I'm limited to one task at a time on the iPhone, especially when the displays are both very similar in size. Sure, the dynamic island helps, but it only really gives you limited functionality, like opening up Apple Music to change your song. It's not what I'd call multitasking. And it sucks, especially on a device that's theoretically rocking the most powerful SoC. And we know from the recent rumors of Apple shifting their focus to the reality headset, iOS 17 may not see any feature overhauls. And I really hope this isn't the case, because I feel like I've been preaching to an empty room when I say that I just really want iOS to get a nice, beefy update. For the love of God, I just want to be able to move my icons anywhere I want on the screen. Is that too much to ask for? But that's a rant for another video. So get subscribed maybe? However, when it comes to the S23 Ultra, thankfully, it running Android 13 with One UI 5.1, there's an endless amount of customization and tweaking that can be had. Using Theme Park and Good Lock allows you to change your icon skins and your lock screen layout. Your keyboard and control center even match the theme of your wallpaper. Now, this isn't something new when it comes to One UI and Android in general, but it's something really nice. Having the ability to customize my phone and make it my own is just something that I can appreciate, and something that I wouldn't really get bored of. Let's talk about hardware though, which I feel like is the most important thing, because if the hardware sucked, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. This is the best Android flagship that I've ever used, hands down. This phone not only feels super premium, but it's comfortable to hold. The display isn't super curved like the S22 Ultra, and you don't get any crazy distortion when viewing content. It's just right. Now, I've always liked flat displays like the one in the iPhone, but the problem is, ever since the iPhone 12 series, it's made it a real pain to hold. With the Ultra, for a phone that's as large gets, I think it's acceptable, especially considering Android is pretty friendly when it comes to one-handed usability. Something iOS is not. When you want to swipe back from an app on the iPhone, you have to swipe all the way from the left-hand side. On Android, it doesn't matter what side you do it from. For someone that's right-handed, which is a majority of the population by the way, this makes sense. I really don't understand how iOS's navigation has even come into play at all, because it really doesn't make any sense. And the fact that you can't even customize it is kind of like a slap in the face, because if it doesn't work for you or it isn't accessible to you, so be it. It's their way or the highway. Did I use that right? You just have many more options on Android to customize how you want to navigate, whether it's through gestures or buttons, and that's something that I really hope to see implemented on the iPhone one day. But let me tell you something about the S23 Ultra. This battery is no slouch. I'm easily able to get 10 hours of screen on time. On the iPhone, I don't really have a damn clue because it doesn't really tell you since the last time you fully charged to 100%. That being said, it doesn't feel like I'm getting the same amount of battery life compared to the S22 Ultra. S23 Ultra. They do look the same though. I know a few people lately have been harping on the battery life of the 14 Pro Max. My unit does have 100% battery health, but I found it to be underperforming as of late. However, and I've never expected to see this, Samsung over here with the 8 Gen 2 inside this thing finally made a phone with amazing battery life. The other day, or days, I hadn't charged this thing for 3 consecutive nights. 2 nights? 3 nights? It was off the charger for basically 3 whole days, and I had 8 hours of screen on time with like 10% left. That is incredible battery life coming out of this thing, and that is not something that I genuinely expected out of this phone. I thought the battery was going to be good. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. The reason I never made the jump completely from the S22 Ultra and eventually went back to what I was comfortable with was because of the battery. But this is night and day. I'm still using the phone and it's only really been about 2 weeks, so I'm not really comfortable doing a full review and truthfully telling you everything in detail about what I think per se. So if you want to see that later down the line, go ahead and get subscribed because I am working on it, and that will be a pretty good video and that will have a lot of good details. But that being said, this phone so far genuinely has been easily the best Android flagship that I've ever used, and the only phone that I would say that holds a candle to this is the Fold 4. And I would say the Fold 4 only comes close to touching this thing because of the Fold's versatility. If I was someone that was able to genuinely daily the Fold 4, I've tried. That is a really niche device, and for me, it's just not very practical. Although if I was like a lawyer or some sort of businessman, that is the perfect device. I love the Fold 4 to death, and that is definitely my favorite phone that I've probably ever used, or one of my favorite phones. But when it comes to a daily and a phone, like a slab style phone, this thing, man, this is so far the #1 phone that I've used. And I'm not just saying that to hype it up. I have no affiliation with Samsung. I really don't care. This phone could be complete crap. I paid for this phone out of my own pocket, and it's even past the return window. I can't even return this thing if I wanted to. If I sell it, I take a huge hit. I bought this to make content, but this is definitely my new daily driver now because this thing is that impressive. I will have a comparison of this phone versus the iPhone 14 Pro Max though, if you are interested in that. That is a video that I'm working on. So if you want to see that, leave a like down below, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out. I almost just dropped this. Holy.